Your secrets, if you really look at yourself, you would be speechless. What happened to being doctors and teachers? What happened to being your brother's keeper? Nowadays, kids more worried.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. My name is Swaina. You're watching BandClap TV. We're in the big.
Hello?
To this message in these trying times.
1 2 1 2. Oh,
baby, we gon' make it in the midnight hour when you sleep. Dream with me, dream with me. In the midnight hour when you sleep. Peace with me, my baby. Check it.
Passion, instant, sweat beats, feel me. Cupid's shot me, heart beats racing. Tempt me, try me, feel so exciting. Thought of highly, it's yours entirely. I'll be more than a lover, more than a woman, more than a lover. I'll be more than a lover, more than a woman, more than a lover. I'll be more than a lover, more than a woman, I'll be more than a lover.
hello?
To this message in these trying times.
1 2 1 2. Oh,
Baby, we gon' make it in the midnight hour when you sleep. I hope you dream of me, I hope you dream of me. Or in the midnight hour when you creep. Of a piece of me, my baby. Check it. No matter the distance, we share the same existence. Perfect timing, it measures. We will be together. I know you think that I'm too young, but I know God knows what He's doing. Oh my girl, say it again. I know you think that I'm too young, but I know God knows what He's doing. I hope you read every line. To this message in these trying times. Baby, we gon' make it in the midnight hour when you sleep. I hope you dream of me, I hope you dream of me. Or in the midnight hour when you creep. Have a piece of me, my baby. When I stare in your eyes, I see skies and sunshine. It's heaven, children playing. That's your soul, you're amazing. I know you think that I'm too young, but I know God knows what He's doing. Say it again. I know you think that I'm too young, but I know God knows what He's doing. I hope you read every line. To this message in these trying times.
1 2 1 2. Oh,
Baby, we gon' make it in the midnight hour when you sleep. I hope you dream of me, I hope you dream of me. Or in the midnight hour when you creep. Have a piece of me, my baby. Check it.
Looking out across the nighttime, the city winks a sleepless eye. Yeah, I'll always shake my window, sweet seducing sighs. Get me out into the nighttime, for walls won't hold me tonight. If this town is just an apple, then let me take a bite.
Midnight grinding, heart race climbing. You go, I go, 'cause we share love. It's me, leave me. There's still no separating. Morning massages, the newborns in your closet. I'll be more than a lover, more than a woman, more than a lover. I said I'll be more than a woman, more than a lover. I'll be more than a lover, more. I'm gonna be more than a lover.
Reaching out, touch a stranger. Electric eyes are everywhere. See that girl She knows I'm watching. She likes the way I stare. If they say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why does he do it that way? If they say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why does he do it?
Cause it will haunt you. Living in an endless dream, yeah. When we hug and we get stuck and we don't separate unless it starts our day.
You're in the mix with the DJ always banging the beat.
I wanna be you.
DJ
BandClap. In your dreams, my baby. Hope you read every line to this message in these trying times. Baby, we gon' make it in the midnight hour when you sleep. I hope you're dreaming a little dream. Hope in the midnight hour when you creep. Have a piece of me, my baby. Y'all feel me?
You're in
In
the
the
mix.
midnight hour when you sleep.
DJ
Hope in the midnight hour when you creep. Have a piece.
All right, y'all. So we back. Welcome to a very, very short rant video. I'm just now waking up. I don't know when this is going to be posted. I might post it today, but I just had the craziest freaking dream, and it's like this rant video is not only just me saying this. It's literally just me telling myself, reminding myself what this dream was about, so I won't forget it. I'm not even on the computer like I usually am. I'm just literally just sitting in my truck. I just got breakfast, and I just don't want to forget what this dream was about. And this was right after last night. I was talking to a soul family member of mine, and we was just talking about the end time events that has been orchestrated, the things that have been already said to happen many years ago and stuff like that. And you know, they always say to be careful the last thing that you're thinking about before you go to sleep, because you're going to end up having a dream about that. And I know, you know, with everything slowing up for me, it's had me not super like down or depressed, but you know, it has been worrying me a little bit, because it's not only me that services and things have been slowing up, a lot of my soul family members too. And I definitely see a very imminent shift that is going on right now. And speaking of my services, as you know, I do readings. Not only do I do readings, I do natal chart consultations, and I also do OPOT card readings for singles and for couples. So if you want to check that out, please go to my website at www.bandclaptv.com. Also, when you go to that website and you scroll down, you'll see a link that will take you to my shadow work class. And I can't lie, that was one of the best things that I could have done, was to create that website and to have that class, because in this time that we're in now, there's about to be a whole new realm of shadow work that a lot of us are going to have to do. Because as we go into this new shift, everything that we would use as a defense mechanism in the old world in this new shift, in this new world, we're not going to need those things like we thought we did. And in a way, this is kind of what this dream was teaching me about. But ego wise, it felt very, very unfair, and I'm gonna go into it. But first, I just want to thank everybody for supporting my last couple videos. I've gotten more views in these last couple videos than pretty much most of my videos this month and last month, aside from the Archangel Michael Chronicles, which always do good view wise. And make sure, because I don't know if I'm still shadow banned from YouTube. They've been really messing with my channel, deleting thumbnails and doing stuff. So make sure, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and anybody that you would run across or anybody that you know that you feel like could benefit from the information that I have, definitely send them my way, and you'll be glad that you did. So I want to talk about two different things, because I was checking out Isabel's video that she did a couple days ago. Shout out to Isabel, the Zero Manifested and the Cosmic Gang, where she was talking about we're entering a new shift in this world that we're in, and a lot of the things that we used to fight over and stuff like that, when it comes to things like racism and, you know, all of those things. Because if this system crashes, if this white supremacist system crashes, where the white supremacists are no longer in power, then what are we going to say? You know, there can't be no such thing as white racism if the white people are now the minority. You know, that's karma, isn't it? Or you can look at it as there's a new balancing that's about to happen. As you can see, a lot of our prominent people are getting indicted on these child charges. I don't want to say the rest of the word, but, you know, on the child charges, you know. And in the political arena, there's just a lot of craziness that's going on. I can be talking about that for many, many hours, but this is just supposed to be a short video. But the main thing was, in this time that we're about to go in, like I was saying, a lot of things that we used to hang our hats on when it comes to comfortability and all of those type of things, we're going to have to rethink a lot of that coming up. We're going to have to rethink a lot of that. And if you haven't been on your job doing what you're supposed to do, all of the things that you used to could hang your hat on, ego wise, all of those things are about to start crashing down, and you're going to start to see what really matters or what really should matter. And with that being said, I want to go into my dream that I had, because remember I did a video a couple months ago, and it was about, if you made it this far, you've graduated. And since then, I've had a slew of, I would call them graduation dreams. I've been having a slew of graduation dreams. And this one right here, it kind of took the cake. It kind of took the cake because it was so much in line with the stuff that I've already been hearing. And not only that, it's kind of left me in this puzzled type of disposition right now, because it's like, it's one thing when you have a dream and you know that it's not necessarily pertaining to what you're going through right now. And then it's one thing when you have a dream and it's pertaining to what you're going through right now, and it uses all of the assets when it comes to your past and the things that you went through in your past that gave you some type of emotion, gave you some type of deep emotion. And those are the things that was used, because it was meant for me to remember this dream, and it was meant for me to, I guess, to tell it to you all. That's why it emotionally had to hit me so hard. So in this dream, it pretty much took me back to the 12th grade. And the funny thing about it was, now this didn't happen to me necessarily, but I knew that I was in the 12th grade because in this particular dream, I was in the jazz band, and I remember the people that I used to be in the jazz band with when I was in the 12th grade. And those were the people that I was playing with. So that's how I knew that I was in the 12th grade. So in this dream, I was in the 12th grade and rushing, trying to get ready for this performance for this jazz performance, because I guess the way it was set up, instead of the symphonic band, doing performances and stuff like that during the graduation, usually that's how it is. In this particular dream, it was the jazz band that was doing the performances and stuff like that in the graduation. And as you all know, I was the first tenor when I was in the jazz band. So literally, I'm rushing, trying to get my clothes on, trying to get all my stuff. I'm running super late, as always. It's funny because in this dream, I had my truck. That was the crazy part. In this dream, I had my truck that I got right now. So I remember it was me, my nuclear family, which is my mom, my dad, my little brother. They was gonna end up coming up a little later, and I know me and my dad took my car. It was weird. I don't know exactly how everything happened as far as everyone getting there, but all I know was I was dropped off, and then the rest of my family, because this was like a big event. Like my dad, he has a good way of talking up people, and my other family, like my grandparents and my uncles, my auntie, up to this point, they've never seen or they've never heard me play before. They used to just always hear my dad talking so good about me in my performances and stuff like that, because a lot of times when we would have rehearsals and performances at the school and my dad would be waiting on me to get out, sometimes my dad would sit in and he would actually hear me play. So my dad, he was the only one that truly knew that I could play. And as you know, it was because of my dad that I even got the saxophone that I got, because he was the one that rented it. He was the one that was paying notes on it and all of that stuff. So rushing, trying to get to the school because it's the graduation program and all of that stuff. So I finally get there and I finally get my saxophone out, finally get all that stuff together, and I'm running to the auditorium. And as I'm running to the auditorium, all these other memories of, I guess, what was going on in that world of my dream, all those memories started coming back. So this is what I found out. What I found out was that I haven't really been to any of the rehearsals up till now. Now, mind you, I know that I passed, and I know that I'm about to graduate. But when it comes to this whole band piece, because I was trying so hard just to graduate, all of the extra things like going to band practice, practicing on my instrument, practicing the music, practicing my solos, all of these things I wasn't really able to do like that, because most of my time that I was spending was at tutoring. Most of the time that I was spending was staying late after class so the teacher can help me with my work so that I can graduate. Because in my mind, and the thing about it was, even in 2008, 2009 of my real life, that's how it was in a way, because looking back on it now, I still don't see how I graduated. I pretty much totally checked out of the school portion. I would say around the 10th grade. I was just like, fuck school. The only thing that really kept me in school was band. That was really the only thing, because my band directors had a really good relationship with my parents. So if I tried to skip school or anything like that, and my dad came to pick me up, my band directors would be the first ones to call my mom and dad and ask them, why haven't I been at school? So that was the only thing that kept me in school. But it seemed like in this particular dream that I was having was that I was so focused on band and trying to be the best saxophone player in the band that my grades started slipping and reality started to set in, to the point where I'm like, look, fuck this band, I need to graduate. Now, the thing about it was, in this particular situation right here, it ended up biting me in the ass, because I'm literally coming up here thinking that I still got my spot as the first tenor, thinking that I can just come in and just wing it, because I haven't practiced. I don't know none of the music. I'm just hoping that I can just go up on stage and just do something, because my parents are in the audience, my little brother is in the audience, my grandmothers, my uncles, my aunties, everybody is in the audience looking at me, expecting for me to play my saxophone. So I'm like, yo, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do something and I'm just gonna hope it work. And I mean, I know deep down inside, I was like, man, I am about to make a fool out of myself. But my ego wouldn't let me live that down. I remember as I was running to the auditorium, because I had to wait until it went to an intermission, because I think the choir was doing something. It was like this whole big event. But I remember my homeboy, Matt, I ended up passing by him headed to the auditorium, and he was like, yo, like, what happened? Why haven't you been here? Like, why haven't you been to none of the practice? Why haven't you been to none of the rehearsals and all of this stuff? He was like, yo, like, this is the big one. This is the big event right here, you know, and if you fuck this up. And right as he said that, I woke up because my phone rang. But the thing about it was, mentally and even spiritually, because usually that's what happens, Akasha always tells me what happened after I woke up, because that was pretty much the moral of the situation. But what he was saying was, you know, if you fuck this up, this is something that you won't be able to undo. You know, this is literally the last hurrah. This is the last performance that you're gonna do, that you're gonna do a solo in and all of that stuff. Now, God rest his soul, but Mr. Huddleston, if this was something that really, really happened, Mr. Huddleston, he wouldn't have even allowed me to even come to the stage at all, being completely rational, because that's one thing that he did not play. When Mr. Hud see that you're not trying to take this thing seriously, take this music thing seriously, and me, I had a lot on my shoulders. I had a lot of responsibility because I was supposed to be the first tenor. So pretty much what Matt was trying to tell me was, he was like, yo, your solos have already been, you know, divvied out to other sax players. Your part has pretty much been divvied out already to the other sax players. So I don't even know why you're here at the end of the day, simply because you haven't been to any of the practices or anything like that. So he pretty much edited you out. But I still had hope. I still had that hope on the inside, because my ego would not let it die. My ego would not just let me turn around, take my jazz clothes off, put my cap and gown on, and tell my parents and tell my family, like, look, yeah, I might not have been able to do a solo, but the most important thing that I was able to do, I was able to graduate. And that's the most important thing. It was like my ego just wouldn't let me think about it in that type of way. Like I still wanted to play on that stage. I still wanted to do my solo, even though I knew deep down inside I was gonna bomb it. I was gonna really, really embarrass myself. You know? And thinking about it now as I'm awake, it just felt so stupid. It just felt so stupid, and it just felt so dumb. And so as I was kind of waking up and I was thinking, I'm like, well, what if I graduated with honors? Because my ego is still talking. You know, what if I graduated with honors? What if I graduated as the valedictorian? And when I go up to the stage and I can do my speech, and in my speech, I'll be like, look, I know y'all, you know, my family and stuff like that, I know y'all expected to come up here and see me do a solo. I know y'all expected to come up here and see me with my saxophone, but I just feel like this right here is so much more worth it, simply because at least now you see, Mr. Huddleston, why I couldn't go to practice. At least now you see what it was that I was working towards. At least now you can see why I wasn't able to come to class on time and do what I was supposed to do in band, because a lot of my time was taken away by me studying. A lot of the time was taken away by me spending more time after class with my teachers and tutoring and stuff like that. And I just had this whole thing in my mind, but then Akasha reminded me, like, no, you just graduated. You didn't graduate with honors. You didn't graduate summa cum laude. You didn't graduate valedictorian. You just graduated. You know, that's it. And it was like my ego and just that side of me that's not of the higher vibrational spiritual path. I was like, no, like, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. How am I going to explain this to my family? Like, how am I going to explain this? And it's like, then that's when my higher self came in, because I had to remember that everything in the dream is symbolic. Everything in the dream is symbolic. And my higher self had to remind me my higher self had to remind me this, was that what really means the most to you. And that's what I want to ask you all out there. What really means the most to you? Because at the end of the day, take away the talents, take away the clubs, take away the sports and all the other different organizations. What is your main objective in high school? What is your main objective in school? Is it to be the best saxophone player? Is it to be the best basketball player? Is it to be the best singer in the choir, or be the best person in the drama club or the chess club? No, the main thing that you are supposed to achieve in high school is that high school diploma. That's all. Nothing else matters. You can not be in the jazz band, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. But one thing that would have really, really put a stain, at least in my family, financially and socially and psychologically, was if I didn't pass, if I would have failed and not got my diploma. It's like, and when I looked at it in that type of way, it made so much sense, because Spirit was like, okay, if you could have done it over, would you would have allowed it to be flipped, where you had the best solo, you had the best, you played all the music right, you played all the notes right, all of that stuff, but then you got to tell your parents that you failed and you got to take the 12th grade all over again. Think about how devastating that would have made my parents, other than me just telling them, oh, I wasn't able to do the things that I was supposed to do as far as playing my solo, like I know y'all would have wanted me to do. But the thing about it is, I still graduated and I still got my diploma. And another thing that Spirit was showing me with this dream was, no matter if I played that solo or not at school, I still got my saxophone. And since I've graduated, now I can go to a college or something like that and be in the jazz band in college and do way more miraculous things and surpass everything that I thought that meant so much to me in high school. Because think about it, especially in my life, I'm just speaking for me. High school, it was a very dark time for me. It was a very dark time simply because how constricted I was. I was living at home with my parents. You know, we were lower middle class type of living. So it was a lot of things that I needed that I wasn't able to get until really, really later in my high school career or my high school existence. And pretty much just like in that dream back in 2009, I really didn't go to any of the senior activities because I just couldn't afford them. I was able to get a job towards the end of my 12th grade year. And even with that, I barely was able to pay for my cap and gown. So with all of that being said, all I really cared about, I just wanted to graduate. I didn't care if I graduated with all D's, because at that time, the college that I wanted to go to, I already had not only a band scholarship there, but the GPA that I had, it was just enough for me to get in, or so I thought. But that's the thing. So looking at this in a more spiritual, in a more holistic type of sense, what this is, I feel like that this is trying to tell me, and this is why I wanted to express this to the soul family, is we've all came here. We've all came here with a certain life path. We've all came here with a purpose. We've all came here to achieve a goal. And you can find this either in your soul urge number, in your life path number, in your moon sign. There's so many ways that you can find out what your purpose is on this earth. And while you're on this earth, you're going to have a lot of things that you're going to grow attachments to. Because I mean, you know, it's not like you're just in a bubble and all you're doing is your purpose. A lot of us, we don't figure out that we even have a purpose until later on in our life. And during that time, we've grown attachments to a lot of different things, whether it's money, whether it's women, whether it's your job, whether it's your career, whether it's your talents, your gifts and talents and things like that. And in this time that we're in right now, a lot of those things have slowed down. A lot of people been laid off their jobs. A lot of celebrities who were making money off of rapping, singing, acting, all of these type of things, they're no longer in work. They no longer can go on tours, and they no longer can have concerts and all of those things like they used to. And when it comes to the soul family, who they know, or they're finding out what their purpose is, but it's hard for them to walk on their purpose simply because until now, we've had all of these different distractions, all of these things to keep us distracted from what it is that we're supposed to be doing so we can graduate and get off of this planet, you know? So just like me in that dream, because I can even interpret it this way, because this is what Spirit was really trying to tell me. In this time right now, you are really, really, really gonna have to ask yourself, what is it that truly matters to me? What truly matters to me? Does it matter to me that I got a nice house? Does it matter to me that I got a nice car? Does it matter to me that I can have sex with all the women, or women, you can have sex with all the men? Does it matter that you have a certain style that makes people just look at you and want to be with you? Does it even matter when it comes to your lifestyle? Do any of these things matter more than the true purpose of why you came here? And that's what I was trying to get at, because when you die, all of those things that your ego was trying to tell you was so important, all of those things is still going to be here. You can't take any of those things with you. But the knowledge and the enlightenment that you gained from being in your purpose, those are the things that you're going to be able to take with you, and you can use that to build your own world, or you can use that to transition into whatever is in the hereafter for your next stage, aka going to college. So that's the question that I want to pose to y'all. What is it that truly matters to you? And if your answer has anything to do with if your answer has anything that's not to do with your purpose, and even if you don't know what that is, in this time right here that's coming up in 2021, you better find out. You better find out, because that rude awakening, is going to lead to a dark night of the soul, and you don't want that to happen. I talked about that in last week's OPOT reading. It's better to heed the warning than to keep treading forward and not listen to the warning, and then you're fucked up in the game, And that's what this whole thing has been showing me, because just in my life, looking back at the way I thought my life was going to go in 2009 when I graduated, if myself from now was able to tell myself in 2009 the road that I was going to go, I don't even know what I would do. I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it. Like, when it came to how I thought my life was going to go, I thought I was going to be a famous rapper. I thought I was going to be a famous jazz saxophonist. I thought that I was going to have a record deal by now and be making millions of dollars, selling records, going on tour, all of those things. And even now, this year would pretty much mark the year that I've made the least music. The year that I haven't even wrote any songs this year. And that's crazy. That is crazy. I haven't written any songs this year. And this would pretty much mark the first year since, I would say, 2015. Because I think even in 2015, I made a jazz record. But in this time right here, I haven't written any songs. And that's not like me. That's not like me at all. And I haven't performed at an open mic since 2019, 2018. That's not like me. I'm not used to going this long without using that other side of me, that Playboy P, rapper, producer. The only way that I kind of use that side of me a little bit is when I do these mixes, but that side of me is still unfulfilled because there was something that I needed to get on the left-hand path, like I was talking about in that Pokemon video. There was a path that I need to go to enlightenment. There was a path that I needed to go in order to achieve what my purpose is so I can get off this planet. There was a path that I needed to go that had nothing to do with my musical talents. It had nothing to do with my other abilities that has to do with my ego. All of those things, just like how when I said in my dream, I still got my saxophone in the dream. And I can easily go to college and surpass everything that I did in high school in 1 year. And what Spirit was telling me is, you still got all those songs that you wrote that you've never released. You still got all of the music from the mixtapes that you did. You got all of this music, and it's still going to be here after you get this enlightenment, after you get to a level in this other path where now you can go back and do all the other things that you thought that you wasn't going to be able to do. And that was a motivation for me, because it was just showing me that, yo, this is the reason why this part of you had to be cut off at this time. This is the reason why, because in this time that we're going towards, and it's funny because this was what my homegirl was telling me. She was like, please don't stop making videos, because there's going to be a lot of depression. There's going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, and people are going to need you, whether it's to give them a reading, to motivate them for the future, whether it's to pull some cards for them, to help them out, whether it's a person that's just now coming into spirituality and they need to know where to go. They don't know where to go, and then they stumble across my channel. Now, how much of a help would I have been to those souls if I was just rapping? How much of a help would I have been to them if I was just playing the saxophone? How much of a help would I have been to them if I had all the women that I wanted, and so on and so on? So looking at it in that type of way, it makes so much sense. And the thing about it is, it's like, even if I had the chance to time travel and go back in time, I wouldn't even want to change anything, because just like the gospel song says, the joy that I have that the world didn't give to me, the world can't take this away. See, the world can take away your record deal. The world can take away your, your women and all of these different things. But the enlightenment and the knowledge and the spiritual upliftment that you got from being on your path and being on your journey, the world can't even mess with that. They can't take that away from you, because they didn't give that to you. So that's my message to the soul family with this is, before things really start to go down and the showdown, hoedown really starts, think to yourself, what is it that really matters to you? And you have to start motivating yourself. If you're like me and you're on your purpose, and it seems like things are going slow, it seems like the money is going slow, it seems like, you might not be getting a lot of things as far as in this world that you feel like that you should get. But what you have to keep motivating yourself is that at the end of the day, just like what Lauryn Hill said, nothing even matters. None of this even matters. This is all about appeasing your ego. None of this stuff really matters, because you can't take this stuff with you when you pass away. None of this stuff matters. The only thing that matters is, did you do what you promised that you was going to do before you even came to this earth? Did you do that? And if you did that, then you've done your part. And I know that your ego might not want to hear that, but at the end of the day, it's the truth. You've done your part, and you can rest in peace knowing that you have some knowledge that you've passed on, that you got some positive, motivating energy that you passed on to somebody else, and now they're going to be great. And at the end of the day, that should really be what matters to you. That should be what matters. Because if you're on your path, you will always be provided for. You will always be taken care of. And that's why it's so important to not covet over what you see other people doing. And it's not advisable to covet because of what somebody else has. Because at the end of the day, everybody in this, everybody that's on this path, we all have the things that are supposed to be allotted to us. And those things that are supposed to be allotted to us, those things are going to upgrade us and have us in our best selves, to the point where other people are going to be looking at us talking about, man, I wish I had what they had. I wish that I could have those type of powers that they got, So with all of this being said, going back to the graduation, with all of this being said, I understand that in this new plateau that I'm about to go on, since a lot of my time and a lot of my energy was spent on helping the soul family, being on my purpose, doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm about to go into a graduation myself. Now, I don't know what that graduation is. I don't know, but all I know is this is going to mean more to me than if I was doing anything that had to do with my ego. Because in this time, if I was doing those things that had to do with my ego, in this time of COVID, my whole life would be turned upside down, literally at a standstill. I wouldn't have been still being able to keep myself afloat like I have been, because I was on my spiritual path. So, and I understand that, like I said, all of the things that I feel like that I'm behind on, I still got these things. As long as I don't go off on the deep end with like drugs and stuff like that, where I lose my head, all of those rhymes, all of those songs are still in my head. All of those rhymes and all of those things that I wanted to do as far as my ego it's still there. But I had to get this first. I had to do this first. I had to be on this particular path first, because even when I've been doing my natal chart, and even when I've been doing a lot of readings with other people, celebrities with Virgo moons, it seems like a lot of them, they got the money first and they got the fame first. And since they didn't have the knowledge of who they were, it was easy for the soulless beings to come in and infiltrate and control and to manipulate and to ultimately send them to their demise. And then while they're headed to their demise, that's when they get some knowledge, but it's too late. So it's like with me, it's been backwards. It's been the other way around, where I take the poor route so I can learn the knowledge. I take the poor route so I can learn about the greatest forms of humility and the greatest forms of beauty and all these different things, so that when I get the fame and the money and the prestige and all of those things, I have no excuse of those things changing me into something negative, because I spent all of this time in my 20s learning about what it is that I'm really supposed to be doing on this earth. And I spent all of this time in my 20s going through all of these hardships, going through all of this pain, all of this suffering, all of this struggling, so that once I get to my 30s and I'm in that luxury that I've always wanted to do, I'm not going to do what my ancestors and my predecessors did before me and have everything taken from under me, all because I haven't worked on the one thing that could have saved me, which was my mind and my spiritual power, and being able to learn how to connect with those entities and those energies that are beyond me, that are inside of me, and that are more powerful than I could ever be, you know? So that's the first thing that I wanted to tell y'all about. And then I just want to talk to y'all a little bit just about another thing, because, you know, when it comes to issue and when it comes to us messengers, we can take some of the most minute things and get enlightenment from it. Some of the most minute things. We don't have to go through like really, really hard trials and tribulations. We can go through some simple things and we can get great wisdom from it. So as you can see on your screen right now, I'm playing this mobile game on my phone, and it's called Call of Duty. All of my gamers, y'all know what Call of Duty is. This is actually the first person shooter that I actually like. I'm not really into first person shooters. The last first person shooter that I kind of played a little bit was Halo, and that was back in like 06, 07. It was a while ago. Whenever Halo 1 came out, that's when I played my first person shooter game. But there's a reason why I brought this up. Now, I'm going to tell you the story in the earthly way, and then I'm going to break it down in the spiritual way and put everything together and let you really know what's really going on with this. So playing Call of Duty on the phone, just using the touchscreen, is extremely complicated. Now, you got people online who've came up with very commendable and creative ways on how to do this. But with me, on the little phone that I got, it's very, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it just makes the game not even fun to play, because the touchscreen controls is just so hard, so crazy, you know? So I was like, you know what? I want to get me a game controller for my video game, and that'll help me to play it better. So at the time, I didn't really have a whole lot of money, and I found this $25 game controller on Amazon. And you know what they say, you get what you pay for. So I finally got it, and you know, it came with this app where you can map your controls to the game and stuff like that. Because I think at this time, I don't even think at this time that I downloaded the game that they even had controller support. And a lot of the apps, and I found out about this later, a lot of the apps that you could use to map your controls and stuff like that, a lot of those apps were banned. So I actually didn't know how lucky I really was that I was able to find an app that worked with that came with my controller, and I was pretty much able to play with my controller in the normal lobbies and stuff like that. Now, you would think that I hit the jackpot, but no, the controller was ass. It was so ass to the point where there was a couple times where I hooked my controller up to my Bluetooth, and all of a sudden my whole phone would just freeze. And you know, I got a Galaxy S9 Plus, so it's not the type of phone where you can take off the back and take the battery out and put the battery back in. No, like I was getting super frantic And I found out that you push like 2 buttons and it'll restart your phone and all of that stuff. And not only that, even though that app was the only app that you could use and not get banned, that app had a whole lot of bugs in it. So it was like, yeah, when it worked, and it worked real good. But that was only, I would say, 40% of the time that it worked real good. And for the time being, I really didn't have no other options or anything. So I ended up getting fairly good playing Call of Duty with the janky controller. I got fairly good. I got all the way up to almost a rank 100 or whatever with playing with the janky controller. And so due to a increase in money that I ended up getting because some people paid for some readings and stuff like that, a couple months later, I went to this pawn shop and they had this second series PS4 controller, and they had it for like $36. And I couldn't believe what I saw. I couldn't believe it because I'm like, yo, I don't think this dude knows what he got. That type of controller, when you try to buy it online, because at first that's what I tried to do. I tried to get an Xbox controller or a PS4 controller. They was all sold out. So all I could get was the $25 Amazon one. But a Series 2 PS4 controller is still like $79 online, like $69, $79 online, especially the one I got because it's like a clear see-through one. And I think those are more expensive than just the regular black one. So I'm like, damn, this is a deal. I tested it out, made sure that it worked and all of that. And not only did he give it to me for like $36, but he also, out of his own pocket, paid for the insurance on it. So he was like, yo, like if you take this home and it don't work, just bring it back up here and free of charge, we'll swap it out or whatever. So I got a deal with this thing. So I'm like, oh snap, like Kevin Hart say, it's about to go down. Man, I stayed up all night. I stayed up all night because the thing about it was the controls on the PS4 controller wasn't too much. It wasn't too much of a learning curve from the other controller where I had to map out the buttons myself. It wasn't too much of a learning curve. And what I found out was that game with a PS4 controller or an Xbox controller is so much more fun. And the thing about it is, I still lost a few games, but I'm gonna tell you like this: I was first place. I was more first place in the battle royal. And if you played Call of Duty Warzone, or if you played PUBG, you know what I mean when I say first place in a battle royal. I got more first places that night than that whole month with the other controller. That's how dope it was. Now, the thing about it is, this is what you find out when you get a legit controller. When you get a legit controller and you connect it within the app, now the lobbies that they put you in are the lobbies with other people that got controllers. And it'll even say it on the top of the screen. It'll be like, since you are using a controller, we're going to put you with other people who use controllers. And the thing about it is, not a lot of people play the Call of Duty Mobile with a controller. So even though the games were a lot more fun because I'm using a legit controller, it got to the point where I would barely get into any games because I guess on my particular server, there's not a lot of people who have controllers. Most everybody is playing it by hand, or they're playing it in a different type of way, like what I was doing. So it's like, even though now I'm able to do what I always wanted within the game, now the game is kind of boring because I barely get any matches. And it's like the competition is so easy now. I be feeling like I'm going against bots because I'm like, yo, like, at least in the regular lobbies with everybody who was playing with their hands, those were some real competitive games. But it's like on a lot of these games, I feel like I'm playing with bots, or maybe it's just that easy, Now, why did I go into that tirade about that? Because see, here's the thing. Now let me break it down in the level of what's going on right now. So a lot of us started out in this game. A lot of us started out in this life with a very, very bad hand being dealt to you, aka the $25 controller. Now, since we're still soul family and we have a purpose and all of that, just like with me using that app, even though we went through a lot of struggles, it wasn't as bad as a lot of other people that got taken out, aka they got banned for using the same apps that we use, the same app that we have, but our app haven't caught on yet. So we can still kind of do what we're doing because the system of soulless beings haven't caught on to us yet. Even though the app and the controller is super janky and it barely works. AKA, even though our life is still fucked up, a lot of us, and we just feel like we're going through so much. But we have to understand that, there are people who are asleep still and they're going through things and they're feeling a lot worse than we are. And that's what we have to remember. So just like how I was so lucky that I got that PS4 controller at that pawn shop just on a whim, a lot of us in this time right now, we're about to come online to some new powers. We're about to come online to the purpose of who we really are and what we can really do with our bodies and what we can really do with our mind and what we can really do with our different abilities and stuff like that. That is our version of the PS4 controller. But the thing about it is, for a lot of us who kept it pushing and we kept striving, even though the conditions wasn't as feasible, AKA we kept going, even though our controller wasn't that good, we still went up the ranks and we still did a lot of impossible things with the equipment, with the messed up equipment that we had. So now we're about to go into a time where we're going to have this AKA PS4 controller, AKA we're about to go into a time where our abilities and a lot of our powers are coming online. Slowly but surely, they're coming online. And all of that hard labor that you had to do to get good with the broken controller, with the messed up controller, that's what's going to make your life, once these abilities and all of these things unlock, AKA you get the PS4 controller, is going to make it worth it. Because now, since you got the equipment that you deserve, you're about to be kicking ass and taking names, just like how I was in Call of Duty. But one thing you're going to figure out is there's not going to be a lot of people that's going to have what you have. Your soul family group is going to end up shrinking, because even some of the soul family, if they wasn't doing what they were supposed to do at this time, they're going to end up having to regress and repeat, and they're going to end up falling back by the wayside. And just like how with me, with the PS4 controller, I can't play against people who don't have a controller. I have to play in the lobby with the other people who got controllers. That's the same thing when it comes to, you can't save nobody. All you can do is save yourself and be that beacon of light that hopefully someone who's looking for that light on their path can follow you and you can help them. That's the only way. So just like in my playing Call of Duty on my phone, there's not going to be a whole lot of people that is going to wake up at this time. There's not going to be a whole lot of, just like there's not a whole lot of people on this earth who have a soul. There's only a few people who have a soul, and half of them are asleep and they don't know that they got a soul. And then you got a portion of us who are awakened, and we are the ones that's supposed to help the other people who have a soul and they're looking for enlightenment. Now, this doesn't mean when you get these abilities and when you get these powers and everything comes online for you in this new time, it doesn't mean that everything is just going to be hunky-dory for you. I would not be the right type of I wouldn't be the right type of person if I told you that, because that's not true. Everything has a pendulum that swings left and right. Everything has a polarity, and we're always going to go through good times and bad times while we're on this earth. That's just how it is. Because you have to remember, just like how we live in a system of soulless beings who know a lot about who we are, and that's why they created this system, to keep us from realizing and to keep us from accessing the knowledge for us to unlock our powers and stuff like that. And then there's some people who have their powers unlocked and they might use them for bad or whatever, meaning that I still took a lot of losses when I'm playing online, and a lot of it is because of my lag, because of my internet service. Some of it is just because I was just outmatched, or maybe the game was glitching or whatever, because there's a lot of people who's been playing with controllers and mice and keyboards and all these things way before I even came on the scene. It's like, yeah, even though I got this controller, I'm still late in the game. I'm still late. There's so many YouTubers who have already made legendary Call of Duty mobile videos and all of that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, I got my controller and I'm kicking ass, but I'm also late to the party. So I can't be mad if I still take losses. But the thing about it is, since I never forgot the training that I put myself through with the $25 controller, I win a whole lot more than I ever did when I had the $25 controller. And it makes the game so much more fun when I'm in the match. When I'm in a match, it makes the game so much more fun. And that's how we have to look at this life. Once your powers are unlocked and you're living in your purpose, and it might be a lonely road because not a lot of people are going to be on that path, because it was always the path less traveled, and all you're doing, you're getting the spoils of the victory of you going on the path less traveled. That's all you're doing. So yeah, you might be the only one in your family to get to this point. You might be the only one in your household that has this victory, has this gift. While everybody else is going through it, we got the victory. But you know, that's going to be our responsibility. If we get our powers and we get our abilities and our stuff unlocked before everybody else, it's going to be our job and it's going to be our duty to spread the message, to motivate the solar beings who are just now coming into their spirituality. It's our job to motivate them, to teach them what we know and the content that we're dropping right now. Soul family, this stuff is going to stand the test of time more than any other thing that you could do at this moment. And what I just want to motivate and tell y'all is, don't feel like you're putting your gifts and your talents and all of those things, don't feel like that you're putting those things on the back burner just so you can go on your spiritual path. Don't look at it like that, because you're going to be depressed, you're going to feel bad, and that's not the reason why these things have been cut off from you temporarily at this time. Because like I said, everything that you do when it comes to your purpose and all of that, in the end, in this time, in the end, all of this is going to make so much more sense. And you're going to be glad that you did at the end of the day. You're going to be very, very glad that you did, because even with me, I've been doing a lot of studying with Bobby Hemmett, or studying a lot of Bobby Hemmett's videos and stuff like that since I'm subscribed to his Patreon. And one thing that he always talked about was how he was a very, very accomplished fashion designer and saxophone player. And he was also doing things in the music industry and in the entertainment world and stuff like that. And he would talk about how his shoes and his designs was so great, and his designs was just so top notch, that he had people in Paris, in France, you know, all over the world wanting his designs. And he was talking about if he really wanted to, he could have been a very accomplished musician and fashion designer, and his shoes and his music would have lasted through the test of time. But Spirit had a different plan for him. Spirit had a different job for him, and he left all of that behind, took a vow of poverty, and started doing lectures and started teaching about spirituality and stuff like that. And I can truly say, and I know a lot of you all out there can truly say too, that it was Bobby Hemmett that really, at that time when you were just getting into your spirituality, Bobby Hemmett was that person that let you know that you weren't weird, because Bobby Hemmett was talking about some weird shit. He let you know that you wasn't alone in the experiences that you had and stuff like that. And even though he would have made an impact on the world with his shoes and with his music and stuff like that, Bobby Hemmett has by far made such a powerful and better impact being the lecturer and the spiritual teacher that he was, that a lot of us, we can thank our spiritual awakening. We can thank Bobby Hemmett for that. We can thank him for that. And I am very glad that he did, you know. So that's all I wanted to talk about with you all. I still have the On Point Orisha Tarot reading coming up. I don't know if this is going to be posted before that or after that, but I just want to thank all of you all for your support, for your love. I couldn't do this without y'all motivating me and all of that. Remember, if you want to see my podcast and my rant videos before they are posted on YouTube. I know this one right here, I'm probably just gonna upload it straight to YouTube because this message really needs to get out. But join my Patreon, www.patreon.com/BandClapTV. If you want a reading from me, if you want to join my shadow work class, all of those things will be available at www.bandclaptv.com. I got so much more content for y'all. As you can see, I'm back dropping. I don't even want to tell y'all what's up next, but it's gonna be real dope. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Make sure if you like the content that you subscribe, that you donate. Everything helps in this time right now. Everything helps. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and until next time, BandClap TV, we out. And as always, no matter what, you gotta stay shining. Because there's some real bullshit that's going on right now, man.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Wait. So before I end this, and I'm glad I haven't started the editing process of this just yet. So I just took another nap, and I just had another dream, and I gotta tell this to y'all too. Be very careful right now. And I know other spiritualists have said this, but I gotta say it because I just had the dream about it. Be very careful who you're asking to do spells for you. I don't care if it's a money spell. I don't care if it's a love spell. You know, it's real heavy energy right now. And for anybody who knows about spells and stuff like that, everything goes in the spell. The feelings, whatever you're thinking about, that's why the ritual goes with the spell. Because the reason why you do the ritual during the spell is so your mind stays fixated on whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish with the spell. That's why the spell and the ritual go hand in hand, because you don't want any excess energy or any excess stuff going into the spell that you didn't even that you wasn't even trying to put in there. But that's what you was thinking about, because you went straight to the spell and didn't do the ritual first. The reason why I just said this is because I know this isn't true in my particular life, but I had a dream that me, my mom, and my little brother, we moved into another house. We moved into another place, and I don't even know how old I was in the dream, but I know my little brother was a lot younger. And I don't know who these people that my mom was staying with, but something happened to where she just all of a sudden didn't want to sleep in her room no more. So what she did, she started sleeping on the couch. She fixed the couch, she fixed the living room up, and she was calling the living room her room. And she would get real mad if me and my little brother would walk across the living room, because the way the house was set up, you didn't have to walk through the living room to get to the kitchen. You know, there was like another way that you could go, but if you were lazy, you would go through the living room. And my mom would always get pissed off about that. So it was these old wino looking men that was in my mom's old room. And this was the weird part, because this was a huge room. This was a big room. Like, I don't know what type of house we was in, but there was a really big room. And I didn't see my dad nowhere in this dream. So I know this is symbolic. This is just so I can tell this to the soul family. This is all symbolic. This is not real, you know, or this is not something that's really going on in my life. All I remember, it was this wino looking dude, old wino looking man with a long beard, black. He grabbed my necklace because I went to sleep. As I was napping, I went to sleep with my crystal necklace on. Very key, because I remember Melanie, the spirit doula, she was talking about how when she goes to sleep with her crystals, you can use your crystals in your dreams when you go to sleep in the dream world, in the spiritual world. And those crystals become your protection, they become your weapons, they become your guides, all of those things. These crystals are living things, just like plants, just like animals, just like humans. Crystals are living things as well. They're just on a different dimension or whatever. So this old man, he looks at me and he grabs my necklace off my neck. You know, he kind of picked it up and he was looking at it and he was like, you know, what's this you got around your neck, young blood? What's that? You know, what's that, crystals? And I was like, yeah, you know, this is I make jewelry. You know, these are you know, different crystals that I put together and stuff like that. And I looked around his neck, and he had what looked like the same type of design and the same type of thing that I had around my neck, but his crystals were all clear and round. They were clear and they were round. And I remember Melanie, she was talking about stay away from the real shiny, round, polished, tumbled crystals. Stay away from those because they're not raw. You know, they're not real. There's a lot of fake crystals out here. There's a lot of fake crystals that's being sold, because in this time right now, the mines where the real crystals are being housed at, a lot of those mines, they can't sell to the jewelry companies and the botanicas and the crystal shops because of COVID. You know, I just came from Atlanta, and I was talking to the people at Phoenix and the Dragon, and even they was talking about some of their inventory. They probably won't even get in until February because everything is just so backed up. And those look like what was around his neck, because I've never seen a crystal that was so clear and so round and so polished. And he had those around his neck in the same type of design that I had around my neck. And he was like, yeah, you know, I'm into them crystals too. You know, I'm into those crystals too. And then all the people around him, because he had a lot of old wino looking dudes around him, he was like, yeah, you know, yeah, he got that too, because they was looking up to him. Then all of a sudden, he pulled this thing from under my mom's bed, and it was either 4 jars. I think it was 5 jars. It was 5 jars. And it was like this contraption where you can put all the 5 jars, and then they extend out. I don't know what, I've never seen this before in real life, but it was in this dream. And 4 of the jars were filled with this clear liquid, and then 1 of the jars was filled with this yellow liquid. And then all of a sudden, to the corner of my eye, I saw some bees. So I know there was Oshun. I saw some bees. I saw some flies. I saw a green caterpillar, and the bee was eating the green caterpillar. So for all of my dream decoders, I need your help with this one a little bit, because I know what some of it means, but you know, I like to hear other people's opinion about it. So he pulled that contraption with the jars out from under my mom's bed, and he was like, yeah, you know, see, you got them crystals, but see, this that real shit right here. That's that voodoo shit. This that voodoo right here. This that real shit right here, you know. And he was just acting like he was just the shit. And everybody was like, yeah, you know, that's that real shit right there, yeah. And so I got super mad, because I was like, yo, does my mom know that you got that under her bed? And he was like, nah, man, you know, she ain't really into this kind of stuff. You know, this is to help her get more money. You know, this is prosperity. This is this to help her get money. You know, it ain't nothing bad, you know. And so I got pissed off, and I told him, I'm like, look, you know, I know you may mean well and all of that stuff, but you doing that, and she don't know that you even did that, even though you may think that you're doing something good, in the end, that's not good. Simply because you don't know what the Most High already got planned for her life, why things are going the way that they are. You don't know, you know, and what you're doing is impeding on her free will, because you did it without her knowing. So you're impeding on her natural process that she's supposed to go through, and you're impeding on her free will. And that was the first thing I said. And then the people around him was like, damn, I never thought about it like that. And then I was like, you know, look at your situation. You know, you're depressed. You don't hardly know how you're going to make money, all of this stuff. And your energy is low. Your energy is very low. And all of that is going to be infused in with the spell that you did. So now I understood why. Now my mom, she might have didn't know exactly what was going on. And this is how I know it's fake. This is how I know that this was just a dream, because my mom is extremely spiritually sound. Extremely. You know, she knew about a lot of stuff that I'm literally learning about now. She knew about a lot of that stuff. She just didn't tell me about it, because, you know, we was all supposed to be Christian. But that's another story. So my mom knew energetically that something wasn't right about her room. That's why she never went in there to go to sleep anymore. So it's like, if it was supposed to be something positive and it was supposed to be something good, then why is it that my mom no longer wants to sleep in her room anymore? now she only wants to, she pretty much turned the living room into her room. And she even tell us, stay out of my room, you know? So when I told him that, you know, he took it out and he was like, dang, like I ain't even think about it like that. And then all while I'm talking, one of his friends behind my back took out a phone and started recording me because I was just breaking down a lot of stuff. I was like, why do you think that a lot of the real freedom fighters, the real magicians, all of them, either they're in hiding or they died because somebody killed them or whatever, because, you know, just certain stuff they don't want out to the masses, where the masses to start a revolution. And I started talking about Farrakhan and Malcolm X and all of it. I was just talking about everything. And then I woke up and I'm like, damn, like I was going in, but somebody recorded me. So somewhere in the dream world, that footage is out there, which means that, you know, just like how things go viral in the physical when somebody records you, in the spiritual, that's the same way. And I woke up and my necklace that I had around my neck, it broke. So I gotta tie it back together. So I just wanted to tell y'all this dream too, just to let y'all know. Be very careful with who you trust that say that they know magic. Be very careful, because even if that person or that those people, even if they got the best intentions and they're doing a spell on your behalf, even if they got the best intentions, if they're going through any type of negativity in their life and they're doing a spell for you, a lot of those things are going to bleed into the spell. And just like with the dream about my mom, that was supposed to be a positive, you know, money, prosperity type of spell. But it was done by the wrong practitioner. It was done by the wrong practitioner. And that's what made the spell not work. And since my mom has always been spiritual, she knew that something energetically was not right about her room. That's why she stopped sleeping in her room. She turned the living room into her room. But a lot of people out there, they might not be that lucky, you know, because my mom, even though, you know, she's a Christian and she believes in God and all of that, you know, she never fully gave up. She never fully went to sleep, as far as she never gave up her powers. She still used her powers. She just, instead of saying different words that we use, she would say angel, or she would say demon, or, you know, different things, but, you know, in the realm of Christianity, but she still used her powers. There's a lot of us out here right now that are just now coming onto our powers, and we may not have that type of resilience that my mom had to not leave the room, you know? So this is why going on this journey, this is why this is so important, because there's going to be so much of that going on. So many people talking about, I can do this for you if you pay me, or I can do this and all of this stuff. We're going through the things that we're going through for a reason. Don't do nothing to try to speed something up or to try to do something and then it knocks things out of whack the way they were supposed to go, because you're going to regret it in the end. But if you listen, you will be glad that you did. So now, now it's over. Now it's over. I just wanted to tell y'all that. Peace and love to all of y'all. And I hope that whoever this was meant to hear, I hope that y'all heard this message and y'all heeded it. And yeah, you know, y'all just stay protected, stay shining, and I'll see y'all next time.